Mikey. Welcome to the farm. So glad to have y'all here today. We are back at it, trying to finish this cleanup around here, getting these gardens cleared out, and I'm gonna see if I can light this big old pile back here in the lower garden and go ahead and get that burned up. All these ashes once it's burnt and spread it out through our garden areas to get it ready for next year. So I'm sure that y'all can relate that during your busy summer planting season, things tend to get a little neglected. So we're going to try to finish getting some grass mowed today, some bushes trimmed, just a lot of needed upkeep and cleanup now that we're finished with our summer harvest season. So y'all come along with us today and let's see what we can get done today. That pile up there is doing pretty good. So hopefully that'll burn on up for us and get that cleaned up. We had a couple of cool days that tempted us a little bit. And today we are at our high of 86 here in South Carolina. So it's a little hot and humid here. 86 is not that hot, but the humidity here just makes it a whole lot worse. So we are at full sunshine today, and I am looking forward to the cooler days, our fall season, because I always like the cooler weather to be able to come outside and really work up my flower beds, get everything weeded up good, bushes trimmed back, just a lot of time for the cleanup, getting your wood cut, ready for those winter months. So come on, cool weather, we're ready for you. We got us a big old bonfire up here. Hubby's got that burning up pretty good. He's got the traco out here, getting all this area up here cleaned out. Starting to look really good. This pine tree right here, hubby's going to go ahead and get that knocked down and out of the way. I was thinking, you know, you taught me how to run the zero turn, and I told our viewers, you know, growing up in the city, all we needed was a push mower. So I never knew how to operate a zero turn until we used to come down here and cut the grass for Nana, and I had to be taught how to use one. A lot of our viewers might not know how to operate a zero turn, because it's not your standard push mower or your riding lawnmower. It's a lot more to it. I thought maybe, especially, you know, it's a good thing for women to know, because in the situation with like me and you, I'm trying to learn a lot of the things that you do around here. If something happened to you, I would need to know how to operate a lot of things here myself.
Yeah.
And not be so dependent on thinking that you're always going to be around to take care of everything. It's always good to know how to get outside your box and learn new things. And especially in a situation like that, I mean, we have so much here to take care of, and I'm so dependent on you just in my mind, you're always going to be here. So if something happens, you know, to our driveway, you were always the one to scrape the driveway, get it back. You know, you used to come out here and mow the grass. It's just a lot of things that you do around here. And if something did happen to you, it would be very hard to operate this place, because there's a lot of things that I do need to learn. I don't know. I think sometimes we don't think about that, and it's always good for a husband and a wife team, or, you know, any situation like this, to train each other in different areas that you're not familiar with. This is a Husqvarna zero-turn mower, and basically what that means is, instead of having to push mow around something, or your riding lawnmower where you have to kind of turn out, make a wide turn to go around, to get the mower turned around, this one, it turns 360 degrees. I mean, you could sit there and just do a circle.
Well, instead of having a steering wheel, you got two little levers right there. Kind of show them what the levers do before you crank it.
So right now it is in the off position, out. The brake is up. So if I wanted to crank it, I would have to leave the brake up. These have to be out to crank it. If they're in like this, it is not going to crank. If your brake is not up, it's not going to crank. This right here, that is your mower deck that I just raised up. This is your lever handle. You press down on it with your foot, and you can slowly let it down with the pressure of your foot. But here's your lever for your mower deck, to let your mower deck up and down. And that's where your blades are on the mower, up underneath there. But this is pretty good around here, because we have a lot of unlevel land. So if I'm going over an area that I need to raise that mower deck up just a little bit, like a big hump or a hill, I can raise it up with my foot and just slowly let it back down. You don't want it to drop down. You want to be easy on your pressure to let it down. This is your throttle. Here's your choke. This is your button for your blades, to start your blades up or to stop them, and your starter key. It's got dual gas tanks on it. So if one gas tank goes empty, I could actually fill up both of these gas tanks. And on the back here, there's a little lever right there. Right now it's on this tank on this side for the gas, but if that one goes empty and I want the other gas tank, I just switch it facing the gas tank that I want to use. So, but it's nice to have a big area like this, to have this type of mower, especially with the dual tanks on it, because you don't have to constantly stop, fill the gas tank up, and start again. So I'll let you, I guess, explain there's your oil and all this other stuff back there, because, you know, that's something I need to learn too. I mean, your mower needs to have oil changed. Hubby just replaced the blades on this mower. This right here is your roll bar. I asked hubby to actually let these down for me, because I don't know if y'all have noticed in one of my previous videos, I tend to mow very closely around things. Hubby laughs at me, but I do it for a reason, because he does a lot of our weed eating around here. I do try to help him with that as well, but to save him from the time of having so much to weed eat, I try to tend to get pretty close, cutting around a tree or a bush or anything like that, to save him some weed eating time. But this right here, being up and not really being familiar with a zero turn, and I still, from time to time, you'll see me looking back, I got to make sure that these aren't getting caught on a low limb or anything like that. There's been a couple of times that scared me to death when I first started operating this. The roll bar was up and it would get hung up on a tree limb, as I was mowing up under a tree, especially over in the orchard area. That's why I told y'all that is, for me, I love mowing grass, but that is the worst to mow because you have so much to go around.
Yeah, I remember when you first started cutting with it, you actually got it hooked up in the guide wire coming off the telephone pole.
Yeah, I think I did that.
I've actually done that, not paying attention, and you go by the guide wires, and that thing, the guide wire will go right up inside of this. It'll go right up inside of this and hang on it and stand more straight up.
Yeah, so that's what was happening to me. This roll bar was catching on tree limbs, and I wasn't paying attention, and all of a sudden the mower, it would start picking up, and it scared me to death. I thought I was going to go roll it backwards, but was able to kind of back it back up and get out from under the tree limb. But that is the reason why the roll bar, I've got hubby to pull it back, because there's too many low-lying tree limbs around for it to get caught on.
Yeah. So what do the two handles do? You can use them without it being cranked.
All right, so your two handles, once the mower is cranked, you put your brake down. This is going to start your mower going in whatever direction you want it to go, okay? So forward direction, obviously you go forward. You can go straight back in a backward direction by pulling back on your handles, all right? So if I want to turn this way, I push this one up and this one back, and it'll allow me to turn to the left, okay? So if I wanted to turn to the right, I do the very opposite direction. So this controls how sharp you turn your turns. So it's pretty simple once you get the hang of it. We have some pretty unlevel land here, and it's got the bigger tires on it and the bigger mower deck. So if you're, especially whenever I would mow in the pasture, which that doesn't really get mowed anymore except for the cows doing it.
No.
But if you're on a hill sideways, if you are on a narrower mower deck, it's very easy to flip.
I remember the mower we used to have, it actually, the tires on it were so bad that it was a Husqvarna too, but it was like the lower line, cheaper, like residential mower. And you would get on a hill and you would go to like just try to cut on the hill, and the whole mower would actually slide all the way down to the bottom of the hill and scare you half to death.
Yeah, this one still slides a little bit, but not as bad as that one, because I mean that's just going to happen, especially if the ground's wet or you just hit an area that is very steep or whatever. But the mower deck on this, like I said, it definitely keeps it more stabilized. Mowing any type of hill area, you know, steep embankments or anything like that, where it's not so easily flipped over. So, but if this thing was up, that's what that is supposed to help with, but it is what it is. I'd rather have it down and not risk the chance of getting caught on a tree limb. So y'all, anytime I'm mowing, I try to be very cautious. Getting too close to the fence line or anything like that, I try to pay more attention, especially whenever I'm cutting around the trees, making sure I'm not getting hung up. And like hubby said too, around our guide wire down there, because it is still easy to get hung up on a limb or guide wire or a piece of fencing. I'm just going to take a moment and show y'all real quick how I'm going to crank this up and a couple little things, and I'm going to finish mowing this area up here. So first, cold crank. You want to pull your choke up, and on this mower it's a little bit old, so I try to push the throttle up just a little bit on a cold crank. It seems to crank up better for me. On a newer mower you don't have to mess with this, just pull your choke up. So I want to turn the key. Got it cranked up. Push my choke button back down. I'll let it warm up just a little bit. You don't ever want to just crank it up and start mowing. You want your mower or any equipment to warm up a little bit. It doesn't matter what it is. You don't want it to start using it right after a cold crank. Alright, so I'm going to put my brake down.
This is what she's talking about, y'all. If that roll bar had been up, she'd have never been up under that tree, excuse me. We got roots around here, y'all.
We have a lot of roots, and that's another thing. You want to mow
She'll use her foot just to pick that mower deck up just a little bit to make it float over a root or something like that. That's what happened to me that day right down there. I hit that root and backed up, and when I backed up, underneath of the mower deck hung on the root and broke that shield off of the mower deck that I had to weld up. Y'all can see how steep that hill is if I hold the camera like that. That's a steep hill.
Guys, I'm gonna go ahead and finish mowing up by the other goat pen, but I hope that this information was helpful to all of you that are looking into or possibly interested in getting a zero-turn mower and needing to know how to operate one. They're very easy, but like I said, with anything, any type of equipment that you operate, you always need to use safety and be very cautious and careful when operating any type of equipment. So y'all, you can see what happens to your home once you decide to take on a small farm or homestead. Things start getting neglected that you would normally tend to and take care of because there's just not enough time in the day to tend to your garden, your livestock, and keep your house running. So there's always a project, and sometimes things tend to wait until you can get to them. So hubby is out here getting these well overdue bushes cut back out here in the puppy pen, And I'm gonna get this grass mowed out here. We still got a couple of things to do out here since we've expanded the puppy pen. We still have to finish their little house, hopefully by the winter time when it gets colder, and just get out here and get it cleaned up good. And y'all, I'm sure
I'm about ready to take the chainsaw to these things, y'all.
it's a lot to do around here. It's a lot to take care of. And you know, it was a lot to tend to and take care of before we acquired all of our livestock and started our garden areas and stuff like that. And but I do have to say, we kept it up pretty well around here.
Yeah.
But ever since we've attained this small farm that we have here, there's a lot of things that this would have never happened.
No.
Like this.
You used to prune them every couple months.
Yeah.
Every 6 months.
But that's life when you have a farm, and you have to just take it as it goes, do it when you can, moment by moment. And like I said, there's a lot of projects that you plan out your day and your purpose is to get to it, but other things come up that need to be tended to first. So that's just what happens. And it's just part of life on the farm, and it's just the way it is, y'all. We hope y'all are safe out there. Y'all take care. God bless.
God bless.
Y'all come back and see us soon.